Right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. I want to give double honors to the apostles of great mercy and do rule well. Salutations to the men of the hopeful and sincere elect. It's your brother Makazar from the trend.com. Just want to do a little edification for the next sake. And the name of this lesson would be Judge Rehearsal. Alright, because in the scripture, according to Deuteronomy chapter 1, it says, judge between, brother. Alright, also says, don't be partial in judgment, because what the Lord teaching us to do, the Lord actually teaching us to be judges. The reason why we go through certain things in lives, so that the Lord actually trying us and teaching us how to deal and judge certain situations. Just like the incident with Solomon. Solomon's first act of being king was actually judgment, where he was faced with the dilemma of two women claiming to be the mother of a particular child. And what Solomon did was to basically test to see who loved the child more, and then he would be certain that this is the child's mother. All right, so all these situations, they occur so that the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai could try us to see how we would judge certain instances. This is Judges chapter 5 verse 11. It says, they that are delivered from the noise of the archers in the place of drawing waters, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord, even the righteous acts towards the inhabitants of his villages in Israel. Then shall the people of Yahweh go down to the gates. All right, so it says what? We're gonna rehearse the righteous acts, right? We're gonna rehearse the righteous acts, and this is what we're doing right now, rehearsing the righteous acts. And how we rehearsing it? By the Lord sending different situations our way for us to deal with it and to overcome it. Where we might have men that come in the truth, and they might not be in the right spirits, or even all of us, coming in, we weren't at first, we weren't in the right spirit, because we had spirits that we had to rid ourselves of. So where brothers might say, what, they're now coming in, so be a little merciful with them, or this brother needs a sharp rebuke. All right, all this is part of judgment. All right, all this is part of rehearsing. As the scripture said, you shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. We're going to be judges. So when we are faced with situations in the truth, in the camps, we're not supposed to be afraid to deal with that situation. We say, leave that alone. The Most High will deal with that. The reason it came up is for you to deal with it. All right, it's for you to deal with it. This is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 6 verse 3. It says, for power is given you of the Lord, and sovereignty from the highest, who shall try your works and search out your counsels. And that is why it happens. All right, that is why the situations keep coming up. The scripture says, for there must needs be basically what was the word? There must be, basically the situations must arise so that they that are approved may appear. All right, it's in Corinthians, 1 Corinthians. And it keeps coming up so that you could judge the situation and basically rehearsing for when the kingdom comes. All right, you exercising judgment with every situation that comes up. Whether you say no to a situation, yes to a situation, it all is rehearsal. That is what the Lord doing us. The Lord getting us prepared for the kingdom to judge the 12 tribes of Israel. All right. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 1. It says, there any of you having a matter against another, go to the law before the unjust and not before the saints? Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world? So yeah, we're going to judge the world. So if we're going to judge the world, the Lord not going to just put us in judgment. In the judgment seat, the Lord going to actually is like a king and a prince. While the king ruling, the prince will sit by and learn of his father. All right? The scripture said to learn of the elders, because they learned of their fathers. All right, so we learn in judgment under the apostles coming up, how the apostles deal with a situation. We learn how to deal with situations because just as we also learning to rehearse judgment for when the kingdom comes. It says, and if the world shall be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matter? You're not unworthy. So stop running from certain situations. Stop saying, nah, I want to deal with that because it is not my place. Nah, guess what? Your input is key. All right, your input is key because your input also helps you to grow in judgment so that you will be able to judge righteous judgment, as the scripture said. All right. Next precept, this is I go to 1 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 12. It says, for what have I to do to judge them also that are without? Do not ye judge them that are within? So yeah, we have to judge ourselves. All right, when you see a brother being a particular way, because you have your conscience exercised to discern both good and evil, that is a key role in judgment. Having your discernment exercised, and your discernment would be exercised with what? By you being open to judgment, where you judge a situation so you know how to deal with it. So when it keeps coming up, you know exactly how to deal with it because you judged it already. But if you keep running from judgment, you wouldn't know how to deal with situations when they keep coming up, and they will keep piling up. And this is what Paul said, but them that are without Yahweh judge it. Therefore put away from among yourselves that wicked person. And guess what? If you don't pour away from yourself that wicked person, that little leaven gonna leaven the whole lump. So you can't escape judgment. You have to judge the situation. You have to be rehearsing in judgment. All right? Don't run from the situations. Face it. Because that is what the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahshai, He training us to do. Rehearsing to be judges. All right? He training us to be judges. This is the book of Psalms 119 verse 71. It says, it is good for me that I have been afflicted, that I may learn thy statutes. All right, so you've been afflicted when you yourself, when you do some sort of wrong and the Lord afflicts you, then you know how you know what, hey, this, not to do it. The Lord will do this. So that when you see a brother doing something, you can say, hey, brother, don't do that. The Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahshai, He will deal with you for that. As little as that, that is judgment. Suspending someone, kicking them out of the camp, that is not the only means of judgment. A rebuke, exhortation, all of this is judgment because you're dealing with the situation at hand. All right, you're dealing with the situation at hand. The scripture said the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly. So the Lord showed us both sides of the spectrum. How could we be judges if we only knew good and not knew how to, pinpoint evil? So the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahshai, He wants us to be judges. So therefore, situations arise so that we could judge the situation, because we're going to sit on thrones judging the tribes of Israel. All right? Hence the reason we go through all these things. We go through these things so that we could judge. All right? So don't run from the situation, but rather face it. And there's the final precept here. This is John chapter 7, verse 24. It says, judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. All right, judge righteous judgment. Go to the scriptures. If you have in your counsels, go to the scriptures and you deal with it. The scripture said in Hebrews chapter, let me read that real quick. This is Hebrews chapter 4, verse 12. It says, for the word of Yahweh is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of the soul and spirit, and the joints and marrow, and is the discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. So, some men might lie about a situation, but when the scriptures come, the scriptures will actually reveal it. The scriptures will reveal how to exactly deal with that situation and what is actually going on in that particular situation. All right? So that is how you do righteous judgment. You do righteous judgment by doing it according to the law. So don't run from it, but deal with it. Don't say, well, you don't want to offend the brother. Nah, by you not wanting to offend the brother and keeping it silent, the scripture said it is better to rebuke than to be angry secretly. You actually causing him to go more and more into wickedness. All right, so deal with it. So with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. To give double honors to the apostles of great mercy who do rule well. Salutations to the men of the whole plan, saints elect. It's Brother Makaza from the Trinidad camp saying Shalom and stay strong. Shalom.